Hello, FUSD family, and welcome to week number 5 of the FUSD virtual basketball season. We have some really interesting matchups today, including two undefeated teams going at it, Skyline Ranch traveling to Circle Cross, Walker Butte coming off their first victory of the season, playing Santan Heights, Copper Basin looking for their first victory of the season as they head to Magma Ranch, and always interesting, we have the rivalry game as Anthem travels to Florence. Now, last week we had Mr. Smith come in here and trying to predict some of the results from these games. He went 1-3, so we thought it would be interesting to bring in Florence K-8 principal Deanna Potter to see if she can do any better than Mr. Smith. Let's bring in Miss Potter. All right, as you can tell, I have Mrs. Potter here with me. She is the principal here at Florence K-8, and she's here to take on Mr. Smith, who went a really disappointing 1-3 last week, don't you think, Miss Potter?
Absolutely. I mean, I know he thinks he knows the sports because he's the athletic director, but those are just really bad odds there.
And I mean, it's not going to be that hard to beat. You really could randomly pick 4 teams and probably end up doing better than Mr. Smith.
I hope to do that today.
But let's see how you do, because our first game today is what I would consider to be the feature game of the week. This is Skyline Ranch versus Circle Cross. Here we are, week 5. Both of these teams are 4-0. Both of them are undefeated. Skyline Ranch and Circle Cross face off today. Circle Cross looked great last week as they held the Gophers scoreless in the first quarter. It was really embarrassing to the Florence Gopher in me. Skyline traveled to Santan Heights and came away with a 6-point victory there. Both teams have looked like they can't lose. Who's going to win when Skyline takes on Circle Cross?
Well, I was a Bulldog before I came back to being a Gopher, so I'm definitely going to pick Skyline Ranch. I know they have a great coaching staff over there, and I think that they'll be able to pull the win out this week.
I think so. Much like Mr. Smith picked the Anthem Eagles last week because he's kind of an Anthem homer, a former Bulldog, going with the Bulldogs. So let's check into game number 1 when Circle Cross Ranch takes on the Bulldogs. And there we go. That was game number 1, and Circle Cross Ranch came away with a really stunning victory over Skyline. Skyline didn't even seem to show up to that game, only putting up just over 30 points.
I know. It's a real disappointment to see the Bulldogs play that poorly, but I think I am going to blame the Corona.
You're 0-1. Mr. Smith started off 0-1 as well, so you're not doing that much better than Mr. Smith right now.
I see that.
So, as we head into our second game, Santan Heights is traveling to Walker Butte. As you know, Walker Butte last week came away with their first victory of the season. They got a little momentum going. They took out Copper Basin last week. Santan Heights, meanwhile, is coming off a kind of frustrating loss against Skyline. So you got a team with a lot of momentum, and you got a team that just came off a victory from one of the best teams, a loss from one of the best teams in the league. Who do you like when Santan Heights travels to Walker Butte?
Well, clearly my strategy the first game didn't work out. I also used to be a Coyote way back in the day at
You've
Walker
really been
Butte.
everywhere in this district, haven't you?
I have. I've been here a while. So I think I'm going to go with the Santan Heights Hawks. I think that their loss is going to give them some motivation to beat the Coyotes.
There you go. So Mrs. Potter is going with the favorite team here. Let's look into the game and see what happens when Santan Heights heads to Walker Butte to take on the Coyotes. Oh, Mrs. Potter, you went 0-2 to start off today.
I'm an embarrassment, I know.
If you're going to beat Mr. Smith, you actually got to call these next two games. And going into today, I really would have put my money on you. Now I'm a little worried. I've had some trouble here. So as you saw right there, Walker Butte, they walk away with their second victory. They're really turning on pretty strong here to end the season, moving their record to 2-3. Game number 3 features Copper Basin going to Magma Ranch. Copper Basin is still winless on the season. They're 0-4. They're looking to find just any success at all in the season. Meanwhile, Magma Ranch is 2-2. They're in third place. They're behind only Skyline Ranch and Circle Cross. One of those teams, Circle Cross, is still undefeated. So on paper, it looks like Copper Basin is headed to an 0-5 start on the season, and Magma Ranch will hold on to third place. So this is why we play the games, right? So what do you think? Is Copper Basin going to walk away with the win, or does Magma Ranch keep a steady hold on their third place in the league?
I think that the Dust Devils are going to whirl over the Mustangs this week. They're looking for that win, and I think this is the week they're going to get it.
How long did it take you to think of that joke?
Not long.
Going with the winless team you think comes away with a victory over the third place team in the league?
Yep, we're going to try it and see how we do.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a little concerned for Mrs. Potter's pick here, but let's head into game number 3 as we watch the Copper Basin Dust Devils head into Magma Ranch to take on the Mustangs. Wow, that was quite a pick there, Mrs. Potter. Going with the winless team who looked really strong in that game right there. Dust Devils getting their first victory of the season, and you, Madame, are 1-2 on the day.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to beating Mr. Smith in my calling of the games, and I am really proud of the Dust Devils for running through those Mustangs.
Like, all of a sudden, they looked really good. That did not look like an 0-4 team that was playing right there.
I agree.
So that's going to bring us really to the deciding game as you're 1-2. As you know, last week, Mr. Smith went 1-3. So you call this game right here, and you are officially a more skilled basketball predictor than Mr. Smith.
That's good. I'm glad that it's official.
And coincidentally, game number 4 involves a huge rivalry. The Anthem Eagles at the Florence Gophers. This rivalry game features the Florence Gophers, who are 1-3 on the season. Last week, they were not able to even put up a single point in the first quarter against Circle Cross Ranch as they came away with the loss. Anthem, meanwhile, was in a close game against Magma Ranch last week, even though that they ended up losing that game in the end. They really had a strong showing. A victory today could vault Anthem into third place with the results of the previous games being in. So Anthem has a lot to play for here, but as you know, the Gophers, they always play with a lot of heart. So does Anthem seize this opportunity and take the leading role in this league, or do the Gophers pull off the upset against their rival Eagles?
You know I'm going to pick Gophers every time.
Yeah, I
They're
would too.
totally going to stomp on the Eagles today, and I look forward to seeing that win.
You know, on paper, though, it looks like more than likely you're going to end up in the 1-3 boat with Mr. Smith because the Eagles are heavily favored in this game right now.
Yeah, I see that, but I'm hoping that the Gophers will come out strong.
You know, as the assistant principal here at Florence K-8, I also hope that the Gophers come out pretty strong, but let's head into the game and see what happens when the Eagles travel to Florence to take on the Gophers. And that right there is like a double whammy,
It
Mrs.
totally
Potter,
is.
because not only do the Florence Gophers come away with the victory, taking out the rival Eagles, but you also have officially proven that you are a more skilled basketball predictor than Mr. Smith.
I think I might put that on my resume.
That would be a good thing. I think you could really pick your own career once you've established that in life.
Yeah, obviously.
Awesome. So we've had 4 exciting games here. We are 5 weeks into the season. You know, there's 2 games remaining. Both these games will be played next week, and then we'll head into the playoffs. So before we sign off for the day, let's take a look at the standings and how they shake up after this week. And after week number 5, Circle Cross Ranch remains in control of this league. They're still a perfect 5-0 on the year. Skyline Ranch, despite losing to Circle Cross today, holds on to second place, and Magma Ranch holds on to third place, even though they lost as well. In fact, third through 7th place is a host of teams with a 2-3 record, and what that means is any team could move up in the standings if they go on a hot streak as we complete the last 2 games of the season. Copper Basin also gets a shout out for their first victory on the season, going 1-4, even though they remain in 8th place. Our next games will be played on Tuesday, April 21st. That will feature Magma Ranch traveling to Walker Butte, Circle Cross Ranch heading to Copper Basin, Anthem traveling to Santan Heights, and Florence traveling to Skyline to take on the Bulldogs. Once again, thank you for all your support of the Florence Unified School District virtual basketball season. Please stay safe and have a great day.